The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act is the most significant gun reform legislation in almost 3 decades. It took years of research, organizing, and advocacy, and the dedication of people like you. We thank our supporters, promise champions, and allies on both sides of the aisle for coming together to protect our nation's most valuable resource, our precious children. Since our founding, Sandy Hook Promise has been working to find common ground to end gun violence. Our commitment to nonpartisanship allowed us to build meaningful relationships with Democrats, Republicans, and independents, both in Washington, D.C. and in state houses across the country. That's thanks in part to you. Millions of you joined Sandy Hook Promise with a common goal: to protect our kids. Over 10 years, you've helped create a groundswell of calls, letters, and messages in every state nationwide.
The Bipartisan Safer Communities Act was passed quickly after the shooting at Uvalde, but the reforms were years in the making. Lawmakers were already having constructive conversations on the issues. A bipartisan coalition of lawmakers has been hard at work on a compromise. They just needed an extra push from groups and supporters like you.
As soon as the tragedy at Uvalde unfolded, Sandy Hook Promise founders and thousands of advocates like you urged Congress to act. While the final bill doesn't include everything needed for gun safety, we challenge congressional leaders to think creatively and act boldly on behalf of young people everywhere.
That brings us to you and why your commitment matters. This moment, passing bipartisan gun safety legislation would not have been possible without you. As our team met with lawmakers and decision makers to find a path forward, your calls and emails reinforced that it was the right thing to do. We heard from so many senators and representatives that they were overwhelmed with calls and messages urging them to pass the bill, and they listened.
While this was a giant leap forward, we know there is more work to be done to keep our children and communities safe from gun violence. Our mission and team effort relies on your relentless energy and support, engaging with your community and legislators to continue to get common sense gun violence prevention solutions across the finish line. Our work does not end here. Let's keep the momentum going.